Hello again, Lesage Renegade, back with you here. Let me ask you this. Have you ever started something like a fitness journey and then halfway through you're stuck? You don't know where to go. Am I going left? Am I going right? Well, typically this is because the goal wasn't properly set. And in today's video, I want to touch on why are goals important and why they're some of the best approach when setting a goal. So what are goals anyways? Let's think about this. All goals are there is it's something that helps you know which direction you're going. So when you set the goals correctly, it creates a roadmap to where you need to be headed to. When you don't set a goal directly, then you're going to feel stuck. You're going to feel like you're going around in circles. You don't know, are you progressing? Are you not progressing? And if you don't know any of those things, sometimes it's hard to stay on task. So what's the best approach when setting a goal? I discussed this in the previous video, and that was do the SMART method. Set a SMART goal. What does SMART stand for? SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, time-bound. So when your goal is specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound, it is easier to achieve it, right? Achievable, right? So specific. When you set out to set your goals, make sure it's specific. Make sure you know exactly what you want to do. You're trying to, instead of just saying, I want to be a good reader, I want to be a better reader, right? Know that, okay, I want to read a book, but I want to read this many pages for this long. Or when you're going to work out, I want to work out 15 minutes a day for 30 days. For example, that is specific. That has to be measurable. You have to have a way of tracking this. You have to have a way of making sure that okay, am I on track? Am I still going the right direction? That is as far as measurable is concerned. If you're running, am I getting closer to my set goal? I want to be able to run 5K. So I'm going to go run 1 mile every day for the next week, for the next month, to be able to run 10 miles, 5 miles, 3 miles. So you want to make sure you can measure that progress. And it has to be achievable. You have to be real with yourself. Is this something that you really think you can achieve? Right? Can you actually achieve this? Is this a big undertaking? So you have to make your goal achievable, because if it's not achievable, then you're never going to get to it. And within that, it has to be realistic. Is it realistic given all your circumstances? Is this something that you can actually do? Is this something that can actually be done in any case? Because by it being realistic, at least you know that, okay, maybe I need to make it more specific. Maybe I need to adjust the achievability for me. And then it has to be time bound. You have to set a deadline. And all these build on each other. You set a deadline, okay, fine. By when am I going to do this? Because that's going to help you. Two things are going to happen. When you set that deadline, you will either have achieved it way ahead of deadline, or not achieved it at all. But that's not a bad thing if you didn't achieve it at all, because it helps you then recalibrate and say, okay, I need this many more days. And it allows you to kind of know, oh, wait, maybe I overshot. And that is very important in your growth. And that's what growth is all about. Remember when I said break them down? Here's another thing I've learned about goals. If you set huge goals, it can be overwhelming. You'll be way too overwhelmed. You're like, oh my goodness, where do I start? So what you want to do is break your goals down into small pieces. Now, you've heard me say this many times. I am training for a marathon. So if from day one, I've never ran in my life, I decide to say, okay, I'm going to run 26 miles. It's overwhelming. How do I go from 0 to 26? That's crazy. So break it down in small pieces. And that's what my training season is all about. Breaking it down. Every week, I'm going to run this many miles a week. okay, that is going to be divided by this many miles a day and how many runs I'm going to do in a day. So I break it down into small goals. I'm going to run this. And then eventually that builds me up to get to a point where I can run 26 miles. So take your big goals and break them down into smaller goals. If we use the reading, for example, I want to be able to read a full book, but I can set a goal to read a page, but maybe a page is too much. Do a paragraph, do a line. Start somewhere, but start small. Don't start too big, because the bigger you start, the harder it's going to be for you, the more overwhelming it's going to be for you. So just remember, take a big goal and break it down into something smaller. So how I set my personal goal. As you all know, I've been doing the 30 Days Creators Challenge, and my goal was I'm going to do 30 videos by the end of 30 days. And there's been a lot of learning through this experience. And I'm going to share some of this in the subsequent videos of what I learned through this. But the goal was, okay, I'm going to do this many videos in this time frame. And that broke down to about a video a day. But that video a day, that didn't always happen like that. I didn't always manage to post a video every single day. But still, I knew that I needed to get 30 videos by the end of 30 days. And we're approaching those 30 days now. And you can go look at the channel and you can see how some of these things that we're discussing, how I've used those in my own personal life and my own personal goal settings, which is this challenge and has been helpful. Once again, we're going to touch that in a future video. How do you stay on track with your goals? Writing your goals down is very important. Write your goals down. Write your goals down. It helps you. It helps. Having something written down, it helps. I'm not always good about it, but writing goals down will do a big thing for you. That's the first thing you want to do. You want to find an accountability person. Find accountability. That's also a good thing to do. And then you want to be able to adjust. Remember when I say when you set a deadline, when it's time bound, by this time when I get to this point, adjust as you go. When you get there, you realize, oh, I didn't achieve that. It's okay. It's fine. You achieved something. You started. So when you get there, adjust. Okay, based on what you know now about yourself, because what you're going to realize is when you start, you will learn a lot about yourself. And when you get to that day, that deadline, use what you've learned from the previous experience as a way to now adjust based on what you now know about yourself. Oh, maybe that was a little too ambitious. Let's extend this a little bit. Maybe I shouldn't be reading a page. Maybe I should just read half a page. Or maybe I can read 2 pages. I was a little bit lazy. So just adjust to where you feel, okay, this is more achievable. And that will help you get to that goal. But then one of the most important things as well when you're doing this, like I mentioned also before, is always make sure you track your progress. Always make sure you're tracking your progress. But please do not use tracking your progress as a way to be too critical on yourself. No. Use tracking your progress as a way to see how you're trending in which way, good way, bad way, and all that is good for you. Just use that to recalibrate, readjust, and go at your own pace. Because remember, these goals, you're setting them for you. You're not racing against anybody. And that's the reason why I love running a marathon and things like that, is because I'm not racing against anyone else racing. It's me. It's on me. No one else. So in the same way, when you're setting your goals, track it, but don't use the tracking to disparage yourself. Use it to help you motivate, to help you recalibrate, and to help you achieve the goal. Because ultimately what you want to do is you want to achieve that goal. The time when is not as important as achieving the goal itself. So if you feel like this video resonates with you, please like, subscribe, and share with other people who you think they've been struggling to set goals, or you think this video will be helpful to them, just share it with them. Let's build this community of people that hold each other accountable. And I'll see you in the next video.